Good afternoon and welcome to the Saxon Ring Paddock. I'm Gavin, Emmett, and of course we're in the Mark VDS hospitality because we've got the MotoGP rider Jack Miller alongside us. Jack, we're live on Facebook. Hopefully you're tuning in live to us. We've got one of these every single week at the racetrack. Get your questions in for us in the comments box below, and of course share it as much as you can as well, because everyone's going to want to hear what Jack's got to say. Jack, actually coming up to this point of the season, halfway point of the year, 6th last time out, some really good top 10s throughout the first half of the season. It's been a really decent season, hasn't it, when you haven't been knocked off?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a reasonable start to the season, you know. Apart every race I finished this year, apart from Mugello, where I was still struggling from that big crash in Le Mans, and just the new tyre, I missed the test there and just didn't feel on it that weekend. And you know, every other race I've finished, I've been inside the top 10, so I'm really happy with that result.
The team looked happy with it after the race as well. We got a picture of them all celebrating together. There you are. That was with Mark van der Straten with his arm around you. Have you got one of those hats yet, Jack?
No, I haven't been given one.
You need to get one of those.
They call it a beret, or what is it called?
I'm not sure. It's like a flat cap, isn't it?
Train driver's hat or something. I don't know what it is.
He's a character, isn't he, Mark?
He is. No, the whole team's an awesome environment here, and no, I'm just really happy to be here at the moment. You know, it's this year's really come on strong for us. You know, put in the work throughout the winter, and it's reaping the rewards, so to speak, in the first half of the season. I feel like I'm getting stronger and stronger, and you know, the first half of the season is tracks that I don't particularly enjoy so much.
Right,
I really enjoy this part of the season before summer break. Assen here. So, after the break as well, Bruno. Of course, I missed out there last year, and Austria, another really cool GP, which I missed out last year too. So
it was a tough step, wasn't it? Moto3 up into MotoGP. Do you feel like you belong now? I mean, the winner side from last year. We'll talk about that in a second. But do you really feel like you're part of this championship now?
Definitely. You know, already last year I started to really understand what it took and what I needed to do in order to be a MotoGP rider. I mean, in the first year was hard. I don't think I was ready I don't think I was particularly prepared well enough myself. I didn't really know what I was getting into, so I didn't really know how to prepare for it. But last year, you know, started working a little differently, and it already started paying its, you know, making an impression on my results. And then also, you know, it wasn't the easiest at starting the year off with a completely shattered leg, and you know, that didn't make it easy. And I was just injury plagued basically the whole way through last year. Just if it wasn't one thing, it was another. It almost felt like that. But this year, you know, I went away this year and really worked on it. Did a month out in California at the start of the year, and yeah, just focused, and it's been really awesome. Also to feel good on the bike, you know, at the end of the races is awesome.
Yeah, it's good to see. We're all pleased to see it. But we have to, when it's raining on a day like today, we have to remember a year ago. It's almost exactly a year ago when we had, of course, that victory. Just over a year, wasn't it?
26th.
26th. He's never forgotten the date. He's never going to forget the date for the rest of his life. But, of course, we had the shoey. Now, we know you picked it up. We're going to find out in a second where you picked it up from. But you started a bit of a trend across the world of motorsport, didn't you? We saw Valentino Rossi. He repeated it. He managed to do that shoey. There was Valentino doing that one. We had your compatriots, Danny Ricciardo. He had a go at it in Formula 1. And he got Mark Webber. He's a big bike fan, so he'll have known where it's come from as well. And recently, a proper legend in our country, Sir Patrick Stewart, was on board. You've started a bit of a thing there. Which is your favourite of those?
I mean, definitely seeing Valet do the shoey, because after I won the race in Assen, he sent me a message saying, "Hey, I really like when you drink from the shoe." And I didn't even think of anything at the time, you know. I said back, "Thanks, mate." Little did I know, 3 or however many races later, he'd be doing the same thing. So it was definitely pretty cool.
And of course, Formula 1 are going to claim it was them. We claim it's MotoGP, but you're going to tell us that the shoey comes from the fishing world, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's not none of us, you know. None of us created it. It was I got it through the Mad Hueys, which they just a bunch of lunatics, you know. I got to spend a fair bit of time with them. They're a couple of good mates of mine, and yeah, they got a big clothing company at home and that sort of thing, but they just that's all they do is just travel around the world, fishing, surfing, and drinking beers out of shoes.
Some crazy Australians, they are. Go and have a look for them on social media. If you're on Facebook, you can get on Instagram now as well. Right, let's have a look. We've got a couple of questions here. Right, I've got one from Angel, or Angel, I'm not sure, McLaughlin. If you could be any rider on the new MotoGP 17 game, who would it be and why? But you can't choose yourself. I think Maverick got this yesterday.
Maverick got this one yesterday,
So
and he wasn't sure who he was going to choose, but I'd go straight to the Legends category and go into Mick Doohan.
Oh,
Jump
really?
on Mick Doohan, yeah,
Oh, right,
for sure,
okay.
for sure. Get on the 500.
I bet as a kid you were looking at him, because you were between New Zealand and Australia when you was a kid.
Yeah, my parents are both Kiwis, and I'm Australian. Well, I was born in Australia, so I've got both passports. So it's a great thing, you know. I could always have a legend in the road racing scene, but also always win the rugby union. It was so good.
Oh, right. Let's not talk about that at the moment after last week as well. And actually, it helps having two passports when you lose them all the time, doesn't it, Jack?
Oh, I've only ever lost. Well, I never lost it actually. I've never lost one. I found it again.
All right. But you'd already got a replacement.
Yeah, I'd already got a replacement. I found it in my shoe that I was wearing the night. I don't know how it ended up
Did
in
the
my
shoe have champagne in it?
No. The shoe had a passport in it. I was cleaning out the closet when I was moving houses, and I found my passport in the shoe. Like it was for the team event, and I had the tuxedo, well, dress shoes on, and I never wear dress shoes.
Well, why you surprised me?
Yeah, and I took them off, and they were in the bag. The passport got in the shoe somehow, and I never checked inside the shoe, and that's the only time I've lost a passport. By telephones, don't get me started. I've lost thousands of them.
You try and get hold of Jack around the paddock, and then you speak to team press, Ian Wheeler, and he goes, "I'm calling Jack," and then you find out his phone's with someone else, usually with Cal or somewhere else around.
I got a bad habit of leaving at places. You know, I was. Yesterday, I think I was going to do an interview with you, but I left it in Aki's office, and then Aki was having a meeting, so I couldn't go in and grab it out of Aki's office, so I was sort of stuck in the middle. I didn't know. I knew I had a time to come and be in an interview, but I thought I'd better grab my phone first.
Got a quick one here from Teresa Morris. Why are you so awesome in the wet? She's a fan.
I don't know. I don't enjoy it, that's for sure. I mean, it's it's not a lot of fun riding around in the wet because you never really know what's going to happen, but I guess it's... For me, riding in the wet on a MotoGP bike's much less stressful than riding it on a Moto3, because a Moto3, you know, is a razor's edge. Literally, you have one little moment you're on your head. But with the MotoGP bike, you've got such a bigger tyre patch, and it works so much better in the wet. But I don't enjoy it, especially around here. I do not want a wet race. We had it last year, more or less, for half the race. But... I mean, it's a long old race, 30 laps around here, and in the wet, you're just always on the edge of the tyre, just...
Yeah, I can imagine. Your eyes not blinking as as much as, or as little as possible. Karen Whitworth wants to know, you mentioned that crash before, are you okay now after it?
More or less. I mean, I just flared up an old injury. It was when I crashed last year in Austria in the warm-up on the hard tyre, when the tyre wasn't quite warm enough on the outlap, and I just touched the white line and lost the front, and broke 3 vertebrae in my back, and I also did a thing in my hand where it's, if you can see, I don't know, go on this camera, this one?
Yeah, I don't know. What are you showing us?
You can see it there.
Oh, right, okay.
The lump there on that side compared to the other side.
Gross.
It's just an old injury, and that flared up big time.
Yeah.
When I crashed in Thingy in Le Mans. And I mean, it's still not quite right now. I normally break one fingered. I'm still...
Yeah, having to go with a couple.
In a little bit of two fingers or 3 even sometimes, whereas normally I'm just a 1-finger breaker, so it's definitely it's still not 100% perfect, but I've had the scans and everything on it, and it's just a lot of fluid that built up around the bone that's really quite calcified. So
when they did the scan, did they check your head, check there was something there?
There ain't anything in there, mate. There's a reason why my head's so big. It's because my brain's quite small inside, but there's plenty of room for it to move inside, you know. They know the bloke upstairs, whoever was designing me, reckons this fella's going to have a lot of knocks on the head, so give me a couple.
Now, we know you as Jackassen as well. That was created last year, but... to Cal Crutchlow's daughter, Willow, you are simply Uncle Jack, aren't you? And you are a doting uncle, if nothing else. I'm sure I've seen a photo as well of you two asleep on the sofa. I thought we were going to get that one up there. Yeah, you're a good uncle, aren't you, I hear from Lucy?
She's great, but...
Careful.
That's my telephone there. It's going again. But, no, you know, Cal and I were teammates 2015, and our friendship sort of flourished, and I was one of the first people that they told when Lucy found out she was pregnant, but I sort of already started quizzing onto it at the end of 2015. She'll tell you I was the first one I said, "What's wrong with you, Lucy? Are you pregnant?" Because she wasn't eating some of the stuff that she'd normally eat, you and her, and I'd get into the junk food and that, but they're great, and I spent a lot of the winter out in California. Well, that month was nearly with them the whole time, and little Willow, she's a legend.
And you absolutely dote on her, don't you, as well? Right, well, Jack, we're going to wish you all the best for the rest of the weekend. That's all the time we've got for, unfortunately, just the 10 minutes here on Facebook, but so good to have you with us. Give us a retweet, won't you, later on, and get it out on Facebook.
If I get my phone with me.
Yeah, if it's still working. What a nightmare he is. Brilliant. Top man, as always.
Cheers,
we know.
mate.
Jack,
Cheers,
have a good rest of the weekend. Thank you all
guys.
so much for joining us as well. And, of course, we've got live coverage for you from tomorrow here on BT Sport. Well, actually, on BT Sport 2 at 8 a.m. He's recovering it. It's still in one piece. Woo!